A warm welcome back to your latest industry recap. There are some developments at ITA Airways. AirJapan looks set to grow its fleet, and 777X news, why not begin there? ANA expects to take delivery of its first Boeing 777X in the 2026 FY as part of renewal and growth efforts. The airline's latest forecasting comes following aircraft delivery delays across its business, driven by Boeing's inability to reach output targets, therefore seeing their backlog grow, but delays pushed out. ANA, committed to the 777X and the high-capacity 777-9 specifically, is expected to play an integral role in the renewal and growth efforts. An order for 20 units was placed initially, however in 2022 the Japanese company adjusted its commitment to the series, swapping 2 passenger units out for the upcoming 777-8F, and this is for its ANA cargo division. When this order was firmed in 2022, the investment aligned with the airline's attempts to modernise its fleet with more efficient aircraft to help phase out older long-haul jets, while just generally bringing a much more fresh feel to the business. The interior configuration of the 777-9 has yet to be confirmed. This is certainly not helped by what can only be described as a great deal of uncertainty that has continued to impact customers of the 777X, thanks to delivery delays driven by certification woes. The 777X delays have been a hot talking point. Customers, like all Nippon Airways, have had to deal with many unknowns surrounding the program. Remember, Boeing initially hoped to deliver the first unit in 2020. However, as the middle of the decade has now arrived scarily, not only has the plane not been delivered to any airline customer, but it has also yet to operate a scheduled flight, let alone be certified, all absolutely crucial things in getting the plane off the ground truly. Boeing had been targeting a 2025 certification and therefore 2025 first delivery for quite an extended period, remembering that this timeline followed many other delays that had been encountered. However, analysts remained very much skeptical on whether a 2025 launch would actually be realistic, let alone achieved. Boeing held out hope and remained firm right throughout 2024, holding to its target. However, by the last quarter of 2024, it was confirmed that a 2025 approval and first delivery would be unattainable, and the program's launch was delayed by another year to 2026. We also received the all-important confirmation that Lufthansa will be the launch operator of the aircraft, beating out Emirates. Once the plane is certified with passengers aboard, based on ANA's forecasting, they certainly expect to be one of the early adopters of the aircraft, with the jet to bring truckloads of efficiency but also excitement to the network as fleet renewal efforts continue. Over to ITA Airways, who will gracefully exit the Skyteam alliance and join Star Alliance in 2026 as part of continued efforts to integrate into Lufthansa Group. The timetable, as released by the Lufthansa Group, follows their own announcement that the integration of the airline had begun following approval to obtain a 41% stake in the Italian carrier. While the stake for the moment represents a minority one, Lufthansa has definitely not been afraid to detail its true ambition to increase it to a majority with time. Therefore, the airline is preparing to be fully integrated into the group. A switch in alliance is one of those core changes resulting from Lufthansa's involvement in the airline, formerly Alitalia, after the latter collapsed. ITA Airways was previously part of Skyteam, however it has begun the initiation process to leave this alliance and switch towards Star Alliance, a move that makes absolute sense. Lufthansa Group calls Star Alliance home, therefore following their own investment in ITA, the carriers move to their alliance, while it will open up new relationships and connectivity opportunities for customers right around the globe. From the first half of 2026, we will see ITA Airways join Star Alliance, your biggest global aviation alliance. Some changes are also set to take place to really aid customers but streamline the operations between the two groups and airlines. With immediate effect, Miles for Miles and More members can earn and redeem miles on ITA Airways flights. Moreover, the almost 3 million that are part of ITA Airways' frequent flyer program will be able to redeem their points and also earn on Lufthansa Group flights. Further changes to the network will be made on March 30, 2025, which marks the commencement of the summer flight schedule. This is in a bid to create synergies and streamline processes. One of those will see ITA Airways move into the Lufthansa terminal in Frankfurt and Munich, which is Terminal 1 in Frankfurt and Terminal 2 in Munich, respectively. Lufthansa Group says this move will dramatically reduce ITA Airways customers' overall transfer times, really streamlining the process from top to bottom, with the changes to also affect the hubs right around the group, such as those within Italy. Furthermore, starting on March 30, ITA Airways passengers will be able to access around 130 worldwide lounges, including those of Lufthansa Group and its partners. From a more flight standpoint, while code sharing will be a focal point with more than 100 flight connections to share flight numbers and easily combine them within Lufthansa Group. Changes such as these definitely focus on simplicity for passengers and businesses with single tickets, which is now an option that can be selected to cover 250 destinations. Coordinated flight schedules are one of the last changes to be made in the more short term, with Lufthansa Group's hub as the primary focus. Optimization of these schedules will occur to ensure that flexibility is at the forefront and departure times occur with transfers in mind for long-haul flying. Over to the final story in today's recap, and AirJapan will see its fleet grow in 2026 by adding a third Boeing 787 to elevate flying. Backed by the ANA Group, the new low-cost division, which launched in 2024, has received word that the mainline division can ship another 7878 model to the AirJapan brand in the next 12 months. Given the all-clear, forecasting suggests the 787-8 will enter the quarter between January and March of next year, therefore we're still some 12 months away. And the latest commentary follows. You may recall previous guidance from AirJapan stating that new routes and new aircraft would be launched in financial year 2025, which, based on how Japan operates, does stretch into the 2026 calendar year. Previously, however, there were no quarterly expectations for when the next unit would arrive. However, for the moment, the expected arrival is in over 12 months, and it does mean that route expansion will be restricted. Boeing 787 deliveries for ANA, as recently covered on the channel, have thrown complications in the development of AirJapan's fleet, let alone the mainline division, with that brand struggling to acquire the planes that it requires on time, substantially pushing out things such as route launches, aircraft swap-overs, and more. Currently, as for AirJapan, while they operate all their services from Tokyo Narita, the 787 is the only aircraft type in the fleet, units being transferred from ANA and basically reconfigured into a new seating arrangement, which can accommodate 324 passengers in a very comfortable cabin. The route ranges from Tokyo Narita to Seoul Incheon, Singapore Changi, and Bangkok for the moment. These are certainly three critical markets to serve to and from Japan. However, the company knows that there is many more cities with a lot more potential, but it at the moment has those limitations that will eventually ease, but it still needs to be calculated with expansion efforts to ensure that it does not expand too rapidly. That'll conclude today's aviation news recap. Thanks a bunch for your support here on the channel. Please take care, do also be safe, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for your next industry recap.
And we'll fly.